So I saw some excellent videos on YouTube, and you really do need to educate yourself about this if you have not done so already. About fractional reserve banking, about how the Federal Reserve Bank, well, it's not a bank, is it? How the Federal Reserve works. Essentially, they print money for the US government. And the US government pays them for this money with that money at interest. It's pretty crazy if you think about it, but go check out those videos on fractional reserve banking. But what I wanted to say is that I learned from those videos of the meaning of currency, fiat currency, that money that you have in your wallet, the money that you have in your online bank account. Currency is paper money and increasingly digital money that is created out of thin air by central banks. Let's talk about the US dollar. US dollars are created by the Federal Reserve at, uh, at the whim of a regulator. A million here, a million there, a billion here, a billion there is printed every day. The last time I saw the statistics, the Federal Reserve prints about 700 million US dollars a day. And if you divide that by, what is it, 200 million, 250 million US citizens, that's not necessarily a lot. A few bucks per head. But obviously, you know that those heads are not getting a few bucks each. The bulk of those millions are going into the hands of those who already have most of the millions and the billions. So 700 million US dollars a day is created by the Federal Reserve at the click of a keyboard. Currency is infinite numbers that are backed by nothing. Money is a finite number backed by material. And so in the US, you used to have a silver certificate, a piece of paper money that said if you brought it to the bank would give you a piece of silver. I don't recall the weightage. I think it might have been an ounce or a half ounce, but anyway, money is backed by material, usually precious metals like gold and silver. And so with the silver certificate, it looked like a Federal Reserve note, similar in design, or actually I should say that the Federal Reserve note looks like the silver certificate used to look like. Obviously, borrowing its design to lend legitimacy to the empty money of fiat currency. But anyway, money is limited numbers backed by precious metals. Obviously, if the bank has so much silver in its vaults, it can only give away so many certificates. If the bank has, just for the sake of argument, 10,000 pieces of silver, it could only give away 10,000 silver certificates. And that's money. If the bank gambles and says, you know what, 10,000 people are not going to come and claim a piece of silver at one time, we could give out 100,000 of these certificates. Because even if a fraction of them came at the same time, we'd be able to give them those pieces of silver. And that is fractional reserve banking, where the bank only keeps a fraction of the actual value promised by the notes. Richard Nixon took the US off the gold standard. US currency used to be backed by gold. Now, US currency is backed by nothing except the good name of the Federal Reserve. And the Federal Reserve is free to print as much money as the US government requires, which at the current rate is about 700 million or more US dollars a day. And the more dollars there are in the world, the less value each dollar has. So, it's near midnight, and I am rambling. Currency is infinite numbers backed by nothing but popular opinion. The US dollar is worth what it's worth because everyone thinks it's worth what it's worth. That's all there is to it. There's no material backing it. It's just that if you bring X amount of US dollars to the shop, you know you can get such amount of goods. Just because we all agree that's the value of the US dollar. That's currency. Money is finite numbers backed by material, silver or gold. Bitcoin falls in between these two because Bitcoin is backed by nothing but popular opinion. Bitcoin has value because we say it has value. The first transaction of Bitcoin was for 2 pizzas that maybe cost 10 US dollars. And the guy paid 10,000 Bitcoins for them. Because back then, 9 years ago, 8 years ago, the general consensus was that Bitcoin was practically worthless. So he paid with 10,000 Bitcoins for 2 pizzas that maybe cost $10. Today, those 10,000 Bitcoins would be worth in the vicinity of 20 million US dollars.